The first station. Jesus is condemned to death. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. There you stand before the crowd after being beaten. You never deny yourself, yet humbly accept the punishment given to you by those who have witnessed your miracles. It's easy to look at this scene now and think, how could they have accused you and condemned you to death? All you did was love every person you met. Yet they are not alone in their condemnation of you.
How often do we ignore you at work or school in the person no one wants to talk to? How often do our words condemn you in the way that we speak about others? It was not only the Jews and Pontius Pilate who condemned you, but we stand next to them shouting just as loud, "Crucify him!"
Jesus, forgive us for the ways in which we condemn and pierce others with our words and actions. Help us to love like you and to learn from your example. The second station. Jesus carries his cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. By now you have endured a sleepless night, betrayal by your friends, and a beating that is too horrible to fully imagine. You've been whipped, stripped and spit on by countless faces, some of whom last week treated you as royalty as you entered the city. And now they hand you a cross to carry, the weight of it far more than any number of pounds we can figure. For in carrying the cross, you carry the weight of our sins.
How often do we forget that you have carried the load for us? How often do we try to carry things on our own, not allowing you to help us? It was not only the sins of the world that you carried, it was our sin, our selfishness, our pride, our anger. Each added more weight to the load, and it was not only our sin you carried, but also our burdens, our worries, our fears, our sadness, our insecurities. Each you carried step by step up towards Golgotha, the place of the skull.
Jesus, help us not to forget the load that you carried for us. Give us the strength and the courage to let go of those things that separate us from you. The third station. Jesus falls for the first time. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. As you walk through the narrow streets, every movement, every jolt burns and reopens your wounds. The pain along with the weight of the cross becomes too much, and you fall. In boxing, when a fighter falls and is too beaten to continue, the fight is stopped by the referee. Yet, There is no one there to stop the battle that you fight for us. Even though you know what still lies ahead, you do not stop, and somehow find the strength to continue.
How many times have we fallen in our walk? Too many to count, we're sure. So many times when we fall, we don't feel like getting back up and trying again. There are too many temptations that we are faced with that feel too fun and easy to do because so many around us are doing them.
Jesus, help us to remember your courage and perseverance when you fell. Give us the courage to get back up when we fall. Help us remember that it is worth it to live as you lived. The fourth station. Jesus meets his mother. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. Amid all the shouts and jeers from the crowd that move like a wave in your mind, as you struggle to remain conscious, one voice stands out. At first, it is so faint that you wonder if it is real. But then, as your eyes meet and you see her face, you are not surprised that she is there for you. She has always been there for you. Her yes to the Father has been a light in the darkness. And now, here in your darkest hour, she is there.
There are so many times when we feel alone in our struggles. It seems that no one understands what we are going through, especially our loved ones, but we realise that they must. How many times have we hidden things from our loved ones out of fear of what they would say or what trouble we would be in when all they want is to love us?
Jesus, help us to remember that we are never alone in our struggles. Help us to see our loved ones as you saw yours. Help us know their love for us. And when things are hard between us, help us to remember the light of your mother in my life. The fifth station. Simon helps Jesus carry his cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. The soldiers who had beaten you all day had what appears to be a moment of compassion. Yet, instead, their selfish motives override their opportunity for charity. They only want to follow their orders, to get you up to the place where you will be crucified. How beaten you look, that they decide to grab Simon, the Cyrenian, out of the crowd to help you carry the cross. He follows behind you, walking in your steps, helping you move forward. You press on, knowing that the worst is yet to come.
How often do we pass up an opportunity to help someone in need? Do we let what others may think of us stop us from reaching out?
Jesus, open our ears to hear the way that you call us to serve. Help us follow Simon's example of helping others. Help us to know what it means to be a true and faithful servant. The sixth station. Veronica wipes the face of Jesus. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. Why now the thorns cut so deeply into your head that even seeing where you should step next is almost impossible. Up to this point, all who approach you, other than your mother, either shout at you or spit in your face. As Veronica approaches, she walks differently than the others. As she reaches out her hands and wipes your face with her cloth, suddenly her face of compassion becomes clear. No words are necessary. Both your eyes say it all. For in that moment, your dignity as a man is restored.
How many times have we forgotten that each person is made in your image and likeness and therefore deserves our respect? Do we make others objects of our pleasure and ignore their humanity? Veronica courageously stepped forward and dared to treat you differently than everyone else. Could we do the same?
Jesus, help us to see your presence in others. Give us the courage to follow Veronica's example of treating others with love, even when no one else does. The seventh station. Jesus falls for the second time. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. The soldiers are enraged at you for falling this time. They can't understand how Simon's help is not enough. In their anger they hit you again and again, before they remember that you have to be alive to be crucified. The beating stops, but the shouts and taunts become louder and harsher. At this moment, you can stop this. You are the Messiah and have the power to reveal yourself to everyone there. But you know that it would not fulfill all that is written about you. You know that you must be faithful to all of the Father's promises to his people. Remembering your love and your faithfulness, you get up, and now with your wounds full of dirt and each step embedding it deeper, you keep going.
How many times have we failed to follow through on our promises? Or worse yet, how often have we lied even to people we care about? Do we remember your faithfulness even when we fail?
Jesus, help us to believe in your faithfulness and love for us. Give us the grace to follow through on our word to others. Help us to be people of integrity. The 8th station. Jesus meets the women of Jerusalem. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. Their wailing sounds like a funeral. They cry and weep as if you are already dead, while air still passes through your lungs and your heart still beats. To them, you are dead. They know you are on your way to be crucified, and because of the beating you have endured, you already look like you should not be breathing at all. Yet, in this moment consumed by death, you speak words of life and say, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me."
Do we listen to your words in our life? How often have the things we've watched or listened led us away from you? Have we allowed the gospel of life to reign in our hearts?
Jesus, help us to listen to your words of life. Show us ways that we can put you first. The 9th station. Jesus falls for the 3rd time. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. Again you fall, this time from sheer exhaustion. Only your will presses you forward, while your body refuses. How difficult it must be to be you, fully God and fully man. God knows that this has to be finished, and that it is not yet complete. Man feels the excruciating pain, and every bone in your body wants to stop right here and move no further. Somehow, both join together, and you muster the strength to get up. You vow to not fall again, because now you can see the place they are leading you to. You know the end is close, and so you press on.
How many times have we let our flesh win over our spirit? How often have we chosen to sin rather than to follow your way? Was it our sin that became too heavy, that you fell this 3rd time?
Jesus, help us to follow your ways. Help us remember your victory over our sin. Give us the grace to recognize when we sin and the desire to sin no more. The 10th station. Jesus is stripped of his garments. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. In some ways, to get to this point is a relief, because you know this is almost over. In other ways, it is terrifying, because you know the worst pain possible for man to endure is still waiting for you. By now, your blooded cuts have dried into your garments. Because of this, they act as a layer of skin for you, since so little of your own remains. As the soldiers strip you bare, it is not the nakedness that is painful, but rather the vicious tearing of your skin. The cuts that had closed now reopen, and once again a river of blood runs all over your body. You are stripped of your dignity as a man, for even animals are given a swifter, less painful death.
How often have we judged others by the way they look or what they are wearing? Do we find our own self-worth and self-identity by the clothes we wear or the way we look?
Jesus, help us to look past the outside of others. Help us not to judge them by how they look or what they wear. Help us to find our self-worth and identity in you. The 11th station, Jesus is nailed to the cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. Lying down on wood is not foreign to you. The first place you were laid when you came into this world was a wooden manger. There you were laid in love. And now it is out of love that you lay here on this wooden cross. The soldiers pull your right arm out beside you, and then horrific pain flows through your entire body. The nail pierces not only your hand, but also your whole body. The soldier pounds it in, only stopping to wipe your blood off his own face. Again the nail is driven into your other hand, and the pain jolts your entire body. Pain shoots up your legs as they nail your feet.
In reflection, we are angered by the soldiers. We can't understand why they are doing this to you, and yet what is hardest to realise is that not only are we in the crowd watching all of this, we are also one of them nailing you to the cross. How many times has our sin become a strike of the nail into your body? How often do we turn away from your mercy?
Jesus, we are sorry for nailing you to the cross with our own sin. Help us to seek your forgiveness and mercy for the times that we sin. The 12th station, Jesus dies on the cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. Above your head is the inscription, King of the Jews. As you use every last ounce of life left in you to lift your body so that you can speak, you do not look the part. Yet every word out of your mouth is one of love, truly from another kingdom. The faces of all humanity must flash before your eyes, as one by one you recount whom you are doing this for. And finally you say, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. It is finished. You breathe your last, and it looks as though this is the end. Jesus, help us never forget your love for us. help us to know that you died for us. Fill us with comfort in knowing that we never suffer anything you don't understand. The 13th station. Jesus is taken down from the cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. The first arms that held you in this world are also the last. Your mother was told a sword would pierce her heart the day she presented you as an infant to the Father. Now, as she holds your body that is mangled beyond recognition, she sees not only the man she now holds, but also the child she held, and her heart is pierced. Your comfort to her will come, but in this moment she has only the Father to be with her in her sorrow and pain. All hope seems gone. How many times have I lost hope in you? How often have I doubted your ability to be God in my life over all things? Jesus, help us to trust in you. Help us to place all of our hope in you, and give us peace in knowing that you are Lord over all things. The 14th station. Jesus is placed in the tomb. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. You are laid to rest by Joseph of Arimathea, Mary Magdalene, Mary your mother, and a few other women. As your body is anointed, Mary Magdalene remembers your eyes penetrating her heart. Tears stream down her face, along with the others there, as they too remember your love. They wrap your body in clean linens and lay it in a new tomb. The stone is rolled over the entrance, and now it surely is the end. Up to this point, death is final. While those you have lived with, laughed with, and cried with are in their heightening sorrow, believing all is over, you are conquering sin and death.
How many times has death felt like the end? When we've lost a loved one, it can be so hard to remember your victory. How often do we miss the opportunities to say, I love you, to those special people in our life? Do our family and friends know how we feel about them?
Jesus, help us always remember that death is not the end. Give us the strength to say the words, I love you, to those people in our lives that we do love. Help us to love every person, not just in words, but also with our actions. Jesus, we love you. We need you and we trust you.